What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Today, for a PSA reveal, we got a 3-card regular order back from PSA, so we're going to go over that. And I have a card show and trade night pickup. So since it's just a couple cards, I figured we would just kind of combine this all into one kit and caboodle rather than split it into two super short separate videos. Let's do the PSA reveal first. This was a $100 regular service order, and I could tell you right now, regular service is flying. I sent these cards off the end of January. They were delivered to PSA on the 31st of January. I had them back in my hand. I am recording this Tuesday afternoon, the 22nd of February. So basically 21 days, 22 days, door to door, like total days. I sent them out on the 30th. I next dayed them. I usually next day stuff when I send the PSA. So, you're talking just over 20 days door to door, including weekends, the whole 9 yards. I actually would have had them back yesterday if it wasn't for President's Day. So they are blazing fast. This was a 3-card order, 1 basketball card, and 2 Marvel cards. This was the Spider-Gwen red PMG, the Black Suit achievement card, and the Darius Garland scope. These grades went about how I thought. I am not surprised by anything in this submission. I'm not thrilled, but I am not surprised by anything. This kind of went about as fair as I probably thought it was going to go. I just didn't get lucky at all. So let's go ahead and get into it. We'll do the let's do the basketball card first. This is the Darius Garland scope out of 88 that I picked up at a local show. Set this off for the old Grady grading. I thought it had a chance for a 10. It's slightly off-centered, and it had a little bit of an edge thing. Very, very small, very, very faint, but we got hit with the 9. I am not surprised by the 9. Like I said, there was 2 things with it. The centering's not super far off. It's a little tiny bit. I think it was more the edge chip that was right up here. And once again, it's very hard to see. You have to have it in the right light, and you can only see it at a certain angle. So, but absolutely great looking card. I am basically, one of these actually just sold while this was at PSA, a PSA 9. And it went for, I forget what it went for, but I'm slightly over on this card. Like I'm slightly under on this card right now, which is fine. I wasn't necessarily looking to run out and sell it right away. I really like the card, which is why I bought it. What this does do, now that I have this back and I know what it is, it frees me up to make a plan what I want to do with my other Garland stuff. Obviously, the Atlanta shows this week. I am probably going to look to move my Blue Velocity and probably look to move my Mosaic. And then I will hang on to this, my red Prism and my red Ice for the little Prism color match thing there. So I'll probably put the Blue Disco in the case for sale/trade, and same with the Blue Velocity, or I could probably move those locally pretty easily. So this one I'm going to hang on to for now. I really like this card. I'm a big fan of the scopes and the color match and the numbered. So that's the first one, PSA 9. Like I said, was hoping I could squeak by with a 10. I think a 9 is perfectly fair. That's not too unexpected there. So we'll just kind of set these up back here since my desk is a mess right now because I'm prepping for Atlanta. Let's go with the Spider-Man achievement card. This was referred to as the MM0. So this is an EPAC achievement card. It's not a PMG. It's a base metal card. But the only way you could get it was through achievements on Upper Deck EPAC. The estimated print run on these cards are very low. I've heard numbers as low as 50 and as high as 100. No one knows exactly where it is. That's just people's best guesses. I've seen numbers all over the place, but pretty much everyone agrees that it's basically under 100. And this is the Black Suit Spider-Man MM0 achievement. I thought this card legitimately had a decent shot at a 9. However, PSA could be very harsh on thicker stock cards. And I got hit with the 8. Once again, not surprising. I wouldn't have been surprised by the 9. I was not surprised by the 8. I thought it was a borderline 8 to 9 with my lean going towards 9 when I sent it. but I'm not surprised to see it get the 8 just because of the way PSA grades these. They usually grade them a little bit tougher, and it's not a perfect. It's by no means a perfect card. There is some slight, corner chipping. Nothing crazy, not as much as the PMG had that I have. Back corner on there has some white on it. The back corners are actually a little bit rougher shape than the front. That one up there has a little bit of white / rounding on it. So not super shocked by the 8. I thought maybe I could get lucky and it could 9. I knew it had no shot at a 10 because it did have some issues. So not sure what I want to do with this yet. These have spiked up. I think the last raw did about 500. A couple raws sold for close to 1,000 at one point in time. I paid 400 for this, a little under 400 for this, 400 for this, and then plus the $100 in grading fees. A PSA 8 on these, to me, gives it a little bit of a premium. Not a huge premium, but it definitely gives it a premium because these cards are so tough grades. I may actually hold on to this. I think I'll take it to Atlanta, and if I get a strong offer on it, I would move it. But I am not desperate to move really any of the cards in this submission that I sent. But excited to get this one back. I'm a big fan of Black Suit Spider-Man, so I am perfectly happy to hang on to that. Last but not least on the PSA grading submission is the Spider-Gwen. This is the PMG. Once again, these are super tough grades. They have all sorts of issues on them. You can see this one has some chipping on the back, and then I'll hide the grade for a second. On the front, the bottom there has some clear white on that corner, some clear white on that corner. A little bit up there, a little bit up there. Oh, you can see the grade there. This got a 7. I thought this had an outside chance at an 8. I don't have a ton of experience grading these, so I wasn't 100% sure. I thought maybe it could sneak by at an 8, but I understand why it got a 7. I'm not surprised by the 7. Like I said, with that white on the bottom right. I think the bottom right is what really did me in with the 7. And once again, not super surprised by that, but absolutely gorgeous looking card. And very happy to have this one back. I am not looking to move this one. I may take it with me to Atlanta to potentially upgrade. If I could get this, since maybe someone has a PSA 8 or something, and I can upgrade or move into a blue or something with this as a trade piece, that would be something I'd potentially use it for, but I'm not looking to outright move this unless it was for an upgrade. I really, really like this card. I'm a big fan of Spider-Gwen. So this was the biggest card in the submission. Last sold on this are all over the place. They go from anywhere from, I've seen sales from, I think the last one of this did about 1,300-ish. Ones prior to that were over 2,000. So the PMGs are all over the place. And I think a PSA 7 on this gives it a little bump over raw. It seems to be, when you look at PMG comps, most of them, PSA 6 has been going for about raw prices. PSA 7 will get the ever so slightest premium. PSA 8 gets a little bit of a premium. PSA 9 gets a real premium, and then PSA 10s are unicorns. So that's the PSA submission. So that's those 3 cards. And then let's get into the 2 pickups. One was a card show pickup, and one was a trade night pickup. I had my local show this past Saturday morning, and then that evening, 101, a card shop up in Cleveland, Strongsville, just southwest of downtown Cleveland, did a trade night / all-star Saturday night party. So first off, the pickup. Actually owned this card once already. This is a classic. They let you buy them back situation. This is a PSA 10 2017 Myles Garrett Prism, which are all silver that year. This is the same as the Mahomes. His rookie card. I bought one of these pre-boom, before everything went crazy, for $20. I sold it at the peak of, not the peak, but I sold it when the market got crazy for, I think, around 200 on eBay, give or take, 175, 200. I really didn't want to move it, but it just made too much sense. I was into the card for $20. It had 10x'd, and I just felt it was time to move it, and then I could maybe get it back later on down the road. And I was walking through the show, and one of the dealers that I work with all the time, Jeff, he's in the comments on the live streams a lot. He had just picked this up in another deal, I think like the day prior or earlier that week. And we came to a deal on this. I picked this up for $130, which is a very, very fair offer, very, very fair deal. So once again, they let you buy them back. I had this card once for $20, sold it for $200, and then bought it back again for $130. So very perfectly happy to hold on to this. This is much more of a PC card than something I would be looking to flip later on down the road. I always wanted one of these back after I sold that one for 200, and I knew it would just be a matter of time before I ran into one for a price that I thought was good. So pick that up on the card show pickup. And then the trade that I made, pretty big trade. I moved a Fernando Tatis Prism Refractor PSA 10 and a Lubob Prism Refractor PSA 10. If you want to see the picture of it, you can check it out on IG. And I picked up the orange, or the disco, but it happens to be orange, Joe Burrow PSA 10. First Burrow card that I've ever owned. It's a color match. He had this for, I think, 800 trade value, 850 trade value. And this is a person that I've worked with a lot before, also a viewer of the channel. And the stuff that I traded him comped out at the time to just over 800. The Prism Refractor actually one sold later that night for 700. The Roberts was comping at about 175. So he probably ended up getting about 875 in value. But I noticed after this went down, another one of these sold for, I think, around 1,200, 1,100. I don't remember the exact number. But the prior comp to that was 800, so we were on at the time. But as we all know, the sports card stuff moves quick. So I haven't checked to see if that was a legit sale or not. But we traded for about $800 to $900 in value, basically. And I picked this up. So my thought process there, because some people were like, oh, that seems, one of the commenters on the IG post were like, that seems a little bit risky moving baseball right now. And he could be right. The person that I traded it to could absolutely quick flip that baseball. If there's a baseball season, which I think there will be at some point in time anyway, that person that I traded it to could probably very easily potentially quick flip. If Tatis comes out hot, that Prism Refractor will shoot way up. Same with Lubob if they come out hot. If they come out slow, as we have seen, those prices could dip. You don't know. It's a gamble. It's 100% a gamble. He could make a killing on that deal. He could lose on that deal. It could come out dead even in that deal. Really, it could go any way. I viewed it like this. I was getting Burrow at probably near the bottom. One of these actually sold on eBay right after the Super Bowl for 600, but then it immediately spiked back up again. That was an auction on Monday night that one slipped through the cracks. The way that I look at this is this card has a very high floor for the next 6 months. I don't see this card dipping very much past this week. I feel like it's going to just kind of sit along with most Burrow stuff. And I could be wrong. The market could pull back. Who the hell knows? But I feel like this card is very safe over the next 6 months. And the Bengals have a ton of cap space. If the Bengals make a bunch of moves, I could see his stuff potentially spiking way up off the hype. My plan with this card is I will not own this card by the time the season starts. That's my plan right now. That could change, but as of right now, I would look to move this at like the National or somewhere along that time horizon, late summer, right before the season starts, in that run up to the season. And maybe that's not where prices peak. Maybe they peak at the draft. If right after free agency and the draft, if his stuff's going wild, so like late May, that's when football peaked last year. It didn't actually peak in August. It peaked at the NFL draft. If that happened, like if this card gets way up there, I would move it. I'm not going to be like, oh, no. I have to hold this card to the National. So I have options basically. And I think this card has a high floor to not potentially go down. Tatis and Lubob have a ton of upside, but they also have downside. They're both very injury prone. And that deal could really go either way. Or to be quite frank, there's a decent chance that we both make out on this. Tatis or Lubob start out hot. He could quickly move off that stuff, or baseball could just spike in the month run up to the season. If they get a deal done, there's going to be some form of spring training. Prices could spike off that. And I expect Burrow stuff to slowly creep back up again over time. So there's a very real chance that this deal works out great for both of us. I just wanted to get a little bit of Burrow, so I at least had something, and that was the easiest path for it. I just think the Burrow is less risky over the next few months than the baseball is. I could be wrong. Like I said, there could be a chance that he can move out of that baseball stuff if the players start hot. I don't really have to worry about that. I know the Bengals have a ton of cap space, And I know they are going to be looking to make moves to improve that team around Burrow. That alone, I think, will spike his prices. I could be wrong. Time will tell. So that's all I have for you guys and girls today. A couple PSA reveals, those 3 cards there. We got a little bit of everything today. We got football, we got basketball, and we got Spider-Man. So we pretty much hit all the buckets today, diversifying into all the other markets. Not sure when this will go up, if this will go up Wednesday or Thursday, but I will be at the Atlanta show this weekend. I get in early Friday morning, weather permitting. I'm supposed to get some snow here in Cleveland on Thursday night, so I hope it doesn't affect my Friday morning flight. My goal is to be there for when the show opens on Friday at lunchtime, depending on when the flight, as long as the flight gets in okay and everything. And then I'll be there all day Saturday as well. I will not be at the show at all on Sunday. We have an early morning Sunday flight home. So I will not be on the show floor at all on Sunday, but I will be at both trade nights and all the other associated events mingling around. So that's all I have for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace.